Friendly match between Russia and Serbia has concluded in a 4-0 win to the Russian side. Serbia down to 10 men after 19th minute, and it was rough after that. Not many chances created, and now we're just going to get into the match. So, Serbia's starting 11 was a mix of guys we usually see starting and maybe guys who wouldn't. So, Petrovic, Gajic, Pavlovic, Arakovic, Mladenovic. The two defensive midfielders were Lukovic and Zdjelar. The attacking four was Živkovic, Tadic, Gacinovic, and Jovic. Four at the back, like Stojkovic promised in his last press conference when he said he was going to try four at the back to see how it would work. To be fair, I don't know if there was much that he could see when you're down to 10 men. I think your complete game plan changes based on the fact that you're now a man down and you just have to get in a defensive shell and protect your goal as much as possible, sir. Gajic, Arakovic, and Zdjelar had a chance to obviously start from the first minute. I was pretty happy for that. It's guys that fans have mentioned who do need a bigger chance with the national team, and honestly, with the quality that we have at the back, which is rather poor, there's no reason why guys like Arakovic and Gajic, I guess, shouldn't be getting a chance to play, and we'll talk about Gajic a little bit later on. But it's good to see that they got a chance and at least a friendly to prove that they belong. Early going didn't really look like there was a particular formation that was being followed. Now, um, when the match started, the formation that was flashed was something like 4-3-3, I think, with Gacinovic dropping into the midfield and Tadic playing as a winger. So I don't know, depending on how you look at it, 4-2-3, whatever, 4-3-3. I'm not even sure what was being played because at time Lukovic was the man that was highest up the pitch, and we had Mladenovic kind of dropping into a defensive midfield role and a lot of different things going on. And I just feel like guys were lost out there early on in the match. Živkovic had a good chance in the 8th minute where uh, it went for nothing because he had a poor touch that kind of threw him off, and when he got the shot off, he just went to the goalkeeper's hands. Um, we give up opportunities very easily. Like no matter the formation that we play, whether it's 5 at the back, 3 at the back, 4 at the back, whatever the case may be, we could play 10 at the back. We just give up chances too easily, and it's like the opposition's players are just thinking way ahead of us or way faster than us to the point where our players just don't react quick enough to get to the ball once there's a through ball or once you play a 1-2 pass. It's like our guys don't process the match as fast as the opposition. It's very weird, and maybe that comes down to the quality of the players. I really don't know. It's something that I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 matches that the national team has played. Guys just don't process information that quickly. It's what it feels like. Gajic red card in the 19th minute. Irakovic moves to right back. Zdjelar moves to center back. I thought it was a clean red card, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Gajic tugs at the player. I mean, you're taking away a clear and goal scoring opportunity. So I think it's a red card. It wasn't like a harsh tackle or anything like that. It was just the player was simply pulled back. Mirjanchuk scored the goal. Petrovic got his hands on it. So if you get your hands on it, you probably should save it. Probably wishes he had that one back, but 1-0 at that point. Um, and like I said, teams just generate chances, half chances, very easily off us, especially after that point. And you can attribute some of that with Djela going to center back, which I thought he was pretty good, and then Irakovic going to right back. He has played the position before. I don't like him at that position. I've said that before. He's a center back by trade. He should be playing center back. But I get it when you have to make decisions and moves on the fly. Moving him at right back at the time is probably the best decision to make. 32nd minute, 2-0. Pavlovic's header goes straight to a Russian player who slots into the back of the net off a free kick. Just I can't really blame Pavlovic for that. I just mistimed the header and it came to the Russian player's feet and he just slid into the back of the net. 40th minute, great chance from Jovic. Goalkeeper makes an outstanding save. Tadic did a great job of freeing him up. Tadic had, I think, 2 or 3 guys on him and he just slid the ball to Jovic, who had a shot on goal, and the goalkeeper had made a great save, and he made one later on in this match as well. 41st minute, Gacinovic with a great chance as well from 6-7 yards out. He tried to bicycle kick it and it just went over the top of the bar. I think he was worried that he was offside. I really wouldn't worry about stuff like that. Score the goal and then let VAR take care of it, or the match referee. Uh, Stuff like that I don't really worry about in the heat of the match. There's other people who can take care of that stuff. Halftime, Sergej Milinkovic, Savic, Mitrovic, and Mijalovic come on for Tadic, Živkovic, and Gacinovic. 55th minute, 3-0. Mihailovic left his man unmarked. He came in and played as a right back. So I said this in my podcast that I did about Red Star yesterday. Mihailovic is a decent right back when he plays competition that is weaker. He's fine at that position because he has some attributes that if he does get out of position that allow him to recover fairly easily. But against better competition, he can't play the position. He's not fast enough, and I don't think he's focused enough to play the right back position. Now there was um, more examples than just this one of him playing, just him like forgetting that he plays as a right back versus a center back versus a defensive mid, where he just leaves the entire right flank wide open or the opponent's left flank wide open. And this is why I don't like him at that position. Again, against weaker competitions, I don't have an issue with him playing there. But against really good competition, like in the Champions League and Europa League, and against teams like Russia, I don't think that he can play that position. I just think he's out of his depth there. And yeah, I understand in this circumstance using him there because you're short a man, but I wouldn't play him at that position anymore. 57th minute, Kostic, Mashovic come on, Zielar and Mladenovic go off, and then 72nd minute, Samardžić comes on for Jovic, and I think that was it in terms of changes. 90th minute, Safanov saves a SMS header from close range, it was like 2-3 yards out. Excellent stop. So he had two really, really good stops. And it was probably from the 3 or 4 chances that we generated. So I'll say this, even though we were a man down, we created at least something going forward. Like some of them were half chances, but at least it's something, even with a man down. So if you want to take that as a kind of a bright spot, I wouldn't. But if you want to look at it that way, then feel free to. And then 91st minute, Sergeyev scores 4-0, and Mashovic just kind of balls across the goalie's 5-yard box, whatever it is, and Mashovic just mistimes it, and Sergeyev is there all alone and slots it into the back of the net. They scored a goal in the 90th minute as well, which was called back due to Sergeyev being like in the goalkeeper's way. He was offside, so he was in the goalkeeper's way. Goalkeeper couldn't see the ball, so that happened as well. But just a very, very poor performance, extremely poor. Starting to realize that it doesn't matter if we play with 3, 4, or 5 guys at the back. We just don't have the quality, and I think that's exactly what it comes down to. We don't have the quality of players to play those positions, and that doesn't come down to the head coach. That doesn't come up down to anything else. That just comes, or the formation. I think that just comes down to the quality of players. What we have is what we have. It's all that we have to work with. I'll say this: the defenders who were called up, I don't think there was anyone was, saying that someone should have been called up who wasn't. Versus, midfield and attacking, maybe you had some guys that should have been called up who weren't. So there's that. But like the goalkeeping situation, we have 3 fairly good goalkeepers. We'll see what happens in the next game against Cyprus. I think Rajkovic might get a chance to play there at least for a half, and then maybe Vanja Milinkovic-Savic in the second half, or maybe even Petrovic again. We'll see what happens. But I thought Petrovic's distribution, apart from maybe 1 or 2 kicks, was fairly decent, fairly good. So I'll say that, and he's slowly getting that experience playing at Chelsea. But yeah, this didn't look like much of anything, to be completely honest. And like it's hard to evaluate a team once you're down to 10 men, and you're playing a side against Russia who does have really good players. So it sucks that he came to that in fairly early in the match. Like 19th minute is really early, or 18th, whatever it was, to get a red card in, and now you have to play from behind for 69, 70 minutes. So that's kind of the bad part about this entire match, because I think it could have been a pretty good match. And like when Sergej Milinkovic-Savic and Mitrovic got on, they just couldn't even get the ball. I wouldn't have even brought them on, to be completely honest with you, and risk injuries. You were already down 2-3-0. I wouldn't have 2-0. I wouldn't have even brought them on, to be completely honest with you, and save them for Cyprus. Maybe get them some game time there. I would have liked to see more game time for a guy like Samardžić, who's been getting called up but has played very little minutes. So yeah, that's kind of the recap. Let me know what you guys thought of the match, the new formation, so to say, and how you thought that looked. Although you guys are probably with me that it didn't look that well. And then Monday we take on Cyprus, so we'll see how that match goes.